Why do you want to see these restrictions eased for your part of the world, and what's the argument?
Well, the argument is a long-standing one, Laura, that the Central Coast region really wants to be known as its own region. We are lumped in twice as often with other regions like Greater Sydney or the Hunter or Lake Macquarie as we are with any other region. Certainly the restrictions, it is tough. It's really challenging here on the Central Coast. 1 in 4 businesses on the Central Coast are in construction. So we're doing it tough here right now, but this is not about saying that we don't support what the New South Wales government is asking of us. We absolutely do. And I commend the New South Wales government for its determination to stamp out the Delta variant. But really, it's highlighted a running sore in our community that we want to be seen as our own standalone region.
If you were considered your own standalone region, though, do you think it'd change any of the restrictions you're living under at the moment?
One of the challenges we've got with the Central Coast, of course, is that we are a commuting population. So we do have workers in Sydney, we have workers in Newcastle, and I do understand the reason that New South Wales Health and the New South Wales government would ask a region like the Central Coast to abide by the public health orders that are being asked of us. But what this has really done is driven to the surface a long-standing frustration. We don't want to be known as part of Greater Sydney. In fact, I did a telephone survey on this just last night, and out of 4,500 people who responded in my community, overwhelmingly, 83% said they want to be a standalone region. Less than 10% said they considered themselves to be part of Greater Sydney.
Okay, we're looking at restrictions at the moment right across the state. Do you think there's an argument for the Central Coast to be living under restrictions that regional areas are living under?
Well, certainly here on the Central Coast, we're very blessed that there hasn't been a case of community transmission, and I do hope that it does stay that way. And if it does stay that way, it'd be wonderful to see those restrictions lifted as soon as possible so that, we can get back to work, we can get our lives back to a bit more definition of normal. But I do support what the New South Wales government is doing. This Delta variant writes its own rules. At the same time, it really has highlighted something that the business community has been calling for a number of years, and that's for us not to be lumped in with other regions. When we're lumped in, we get some really skewed results, skewed sort of outcomes in terms of how we're seen as a region. We've got our own unique identity. We've now got our own medical university, and the students started learning from that university just this week, albeit remotely because of lockdown. We really have our own unique identity, and it's time for that to be seen by all levels of government in that way.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a prolonged lockdown, at least here in New South Wales. We see these support payments from state and the federal government together. We saw how JobKeeper worked last year, though. Is there an argument to bring that back?
Well, certainly what I'm seeing is a sense of relief when we did see that additional support package that was announced by the state and the federal government. I know there's some frustrations in terms of being able to access that, and I would encourage people to be patient with the system. It will actually roll out as it needs to, although I know that there were some frustrations yesterday. There are payments for individuals who have found themselves without work. There's payment for businesses who are finding it really tough.
As this shutdown rolls on and we've got near 100 cases every day in New South Wales, in the long term, if it goes for longer than a month, is this payment going to be enough?
Well, certainly I'm going to be listening very closely to the needs of my community and feeding that back into the state government and to the federal government, as I do on a daily and weekly basis. And I'll continue to monitor that very, very closely. I think the packages for businesses is going to help. It doesn't meet all of the needs, of course, but it will help. And the package for individuals, I know that that's being rolled out and is accessible in many instances within the same day. So that is going to help as well. But there's no doubt it's incredibly tough. It's incredibly tough financially, economically, socially. Many people are not able to access the support systems that they have around them, for personal care, for wellness, for being able to connect with their family and friends. And it really isn't easy, but I do think that by all of us observing what's being asked of us at this time, we can hopefully lift this lockdown sooner.
Yeah, we hope so. Lucy Wicks, thanks so much. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.